New Year's Eve on ITV brings top entertainment, and Lionel Blair spins off with star prizes for the contestant who can
name that tune.
Catch up with funny man Freddie Starr at 8 as his fast-moving Comedy Express goes full steam ahead. Making a big splash at 9, Yanks, the peaceful invaders of wartime Britain.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah.
I've never wanted anyone like I want you.
Richard Gere, Lisa Eichhorn and Vanessa Redgrave in Yanks. And what better way to celebrate New Year's Eve than with a Hogmanay special at 11:45 in the New Year show. It's a great New Year's Eve on ITV.
Back to tonight, and it's our final programme, 5 minutes.
Do you remember Billy Liar? A very likeable character, always putting his foot in things and getting into trouble. Someone who didn't seem to be able to get anything right. Definitely not well put together, but nonetheless someone you could get on with easily. One day I remember he was speaking to his girlfriend, and he was pretty miserable, if I remember right. She said, "You ought to turn over a new leaf." Nothing very original in that. And Billy replied, "Oh, I often do that, but the blots show through." There's a bit of solid wisdom in that remark. Whatever we do is part and parcel of our lives, and like it or not, we can never get rid of it. It's with us forever and a day. A bit depressing. Surely I haven't got to carry my mistakes with me always. Can't I be forgiven? Of course I can. But that's not the whole story. Even when I've been forgiven and when the incident's been forgotten by everyone, it's still part of me. I can't pretend to myself that it never happened. And there's no reason why that should depress me. I'm always making new starts, building on my mistakes. The blots may indeed show through, but in a roundabout sort of way, that can sometimes help me put my life a bit straighter. Knowing what the mistakes are helps me to see what I've got to put right. Some years ago, when I was first made a bishop, a friend of mine gave me a cross, the one I've got here. It's quite an unusual one. Most crosses simply have the figure of Jesus Christ on them, reminding us that he died on a cross in an act of supreme self-sacrifice and generous love. This one, I believe it came originally from Turkey, has on one side the figure of Jesus on the cross, and on the other side an image of the mother and child. As we've just kept the feast of Christmas, recalling the birth of Jesus, I want to use this cross as a sort of picture, parable, of something I think is essential for us to take on board. All of us can identify with the mother and child. It's a human sign, it's warm, tender, a sign of love and new life. It reminds us of our own family. And whatever our personal experience of home may have been, we know that this sign is rich and deep, an image of something truly good and worthwhile. Family life and love is the basis of a healthy society, and we know without any shadow of doubt that the world would be a far better place if all that this image of life and hope were always realized. The second image, Jesus on the cross, is stark, harsh and hard. We can easily see why the crucifixion is a stumbling block to so many. But being willing to accept this side of the cross is one of the central things in Christian belief and living. Jesus says very plainly that anyone who wants to follow him must take up his cross every day. He says we have to die to ourselves before we can do anything really worthwhile. And isn't this our ordinary experience? That we have to deny ourselves, be self-sacrificing if we're to achieve anything? And that's the parable. In a nutshell, it's this. It's no good my simply knowing what's good. The good things of life, the really good things, have to be worked for. They don't just happen. They come through generous love and self-sacrifice. Most of the ills of the world, probably all of them, are due in some measure to our living for ourselves, in other words, selfishly. And they'll only be conquered, the ills of the world, when all of us learn to be less selfish. We've enjoyed Christmas, the mother and child side of the cross, and we're rightly looking forward to a new year full of hope and blessings. One key to making the most of the new year is learning to live for others generously and in a spirit of self-sacrifice, the crucifixion side of the cross. Not easy, certainly something of a cross, but richly rewarding. A very happy New Year to all of you.
And now here's the regional weather forecast. Apart from isolated snow showers near the coast, tonight will be dry, clear and very cold. The minimum temperature -7 centigrade, that's 45 Fahrenheit, which will give us severe frost. Most of the region will also stay dry tomorrow, with sunshine in the morning before clouds increase from the west in the afternoon, bringing a few outbreaks of snow to Pennine areas around dusk. It will remain cold, the maximum temperature only 1 centigrade, 34 Fahrenheit, late in the afternoon, and the wind southerly, light, becoming moderate. That's the weather.
Monday night on ITV and a budding romance down Coronation Street.
So you're not some clean-cut young executive with 55 O-levels. But he knows a senior, and he's mentioned the age difference.
At 8, playing it all in good faith.
I think we're in big trouble. Why? He's worse than I am.
Comedy with Richard Bryce as a conscience-stricken vicar, all in good faith. More laughs at 8:30 when Benny Hill's back with his own hilarious brand of naughty knockabout. At 9:15, L'Enfance du Christ, a magnificent adaptation of the Christmas oratorio by Berlioz with the Royal Ballet and the English Chamber Orchestra. These are the highlights of Monday evening on ITV.
For the latest music, news and sport, tune to your independent local radio station. Radio Hallam serves South Yorkshire and North Derbyshire 24 hours a day. Pennine Radio can be heard in Bradford and West Yorkshire. And in North Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire, there's Viking Radio. Radio Air broadcasts to Leeds and West Yorkshire. In the north of the county, it's Radio Tees. And South Lincolnshire station is Hereward Radio. All over the region. Just listen to your local favourite.
And so we come to the end of our programmes for tonight. It's just approaching 19 minutes past midnight, and Yorkshire Television is closing down. So this is Paul Lally on behalf of all of my colleagues here, wishing you a very warm good night.